Good afternoon, everyone. It's Saturday. It's Chat with Mac. We're glad to have you. For those of you that have been watching us all year, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Well, we have three more of these before 2023 descends upon us. So we're excited about what's getting ready to happen. And for those of you that are new to what we do, welcome, 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 and we hope that you continue to watch. How's it going, boss?
Doing great. How you doing?
Good. Had a great time. Yesterday was just real quickly, we had our holiday party yesterday, and it was great to see Nadeem outside of his element and being the awesome granddad that he is. That was so awesome to see.
Yeah, it was good to see you, Mac, and some of our offshore people joined us too. But last week we spoke about modern authentication and how it causes issues for some users. Just out of the blue, things stop working because Microsoft enables modern authentication on tenants. So another question that I get that is very similar to this is, and I'll throw out a scenario. Let's talk about this a little bit and what you can do to get around this. So let's say you have either a device or a service that sends out emails. You might have a scanner, like a copier that connects to Office 365 and sends out your scans, or you might have a web service that maybe when somebody fills out a form on your website, it sends you that email. So for the longest time, these devices and services were working fine, and all of a sudden one day they stop working, right? What happened? Why did they stop? And what can you do about it? So there's the main reason recently that I've seen why such devices or services stop sending emails is because Microsoft is enabling something for security, and it's called TLS 1.2. So TLS is for security, the encryption required between the client device, which is your scanner, copier, service, whatever that device is, and Microsoft's Office 365 infrastructure. Now, historically, Microsoft's been using TLS. A lot of other service providers don't even use encryption when sending out SMTP email or sending out email. And Microsoft has historically used a TLS, which was 1.0, which is not as secure as the newer standard, which is TLS 1.2 and above. So recently, Microsoft has been enabling TLS 1.2 on all their tenants. Now they're doing a phased rollout, just like they did with modern authentication. First, they did modern authentication. Now they're doing TLS 1.2 rollout. So if you have devices or services that were sending emails successfully and all of a sudden it stopped, check that option out. It's probably because your tenant got TLS 1.2 enabled. Now, the harder question to answer is, how do you fix it? The easy way to fix it is to update your device or service that is sending out these emails. If it's a currently supported device or service, if it's a device, you'll probably have a firmware update. You can update the firmware, it'll upgrade it to TLS 1.2, everything will be fine. If it's a service, get with the developer of the service. They should be able to update it to accommodate for TLS 1.2. It's just a matter of updating certificates and such, cryptography. And then once they update that, things will be fine. What happens when your device or service is no longer supported and you still need to send those emails? That's where it gets a little tricky. So now, if you do some searching, you will see that there are some ways people have written about. You can do this, you can do that, and it'll send it through. Now, none of those really work with any consistency. What you can do, what officially Microsoft said, is that you can defer or postpone TLS 1.2 rollout before it is enabled within your tenant. But once it's enabled, it's done. So now you're kind of stuck. Now, some people, even IT companies might tell you, oh yeah, even if it's enabled with TLS 1.2, you can put some of these things in place and it will circumvent TLS 1.2. I haven't seen that work with any consistency at all. I've never seen that work. Once it's enabled and your services stop working, you have to upgrade your client side, which is the device or the service that sends out these emails, to TLS 1.2. Otherwise, that device or service is not going to be able to send emails.
Okay.
Now, it's upsetting some customers because they're like, well, we can't be doing that. These apps have been working great and blah blah blah. Here's the big picture. Microsoft is doing this to protect its customers. Everybody, you, us, everybody, we're Microsoft customers. Now, Microsoft didn't have to do this. A lot of companies out there don't care. They're leaving it on TLS 1.0, which is compromised. It's easy to get those credentials and then start using your SMTP service or your mail sending service for sending out malware, phishing emails, whatever have you. So it's a good thing that Microsoft is doing. Yes, the communication could have been better. Here's the problem with communication from Microsoft. I know, like us, everybody gets so much communication from Microsoft. A lot of times it just gets important things like this just get mixed up with everything else. And you see an email from Microsoft, you're like, oh yeah, okay, whatever, delete, and there goes this important notice that your tenant is getting upgraded to support TLS 1.2. So there's really not much to do as far as rolling it back, taking away TLS 1.2. It's a good thing because it's a more secure protocol, but what can you do to enable these services and devices to be able to send out those emails? What I would suggest you do is get a third-party mail service, SMTP service. And there's a bunch out there. I'm not going to name any names because I wouldn't recommend any specific one. We don't have any agreement with anybody, but you can search on your own, and there's a bunch of SMTP services. That's what they're called, is SMTP services, Send Mail Transport Protocol. That's what it stands for. So sign up with one of these third parties. They will not require TLS 1.2. Some of them will actually do clear text authentication even. But the thing is, now you've separated your service or device that sends out these email notices from your production email. So your production email is still secure, TLS 1.2. Your service that sends out these bunch of emails for whatever reason is now using a separate service. There are two benefits to this. One is, of course, your devices can send email and your production devices or your production account is still secure. The other benefit that you get is, if you're sending out mass email through one of these web services, let's say, and if you use your production account for sending out these mass emails, some third-party systems will detect that amount of email coming out of that account and tag it as a spammer. You don't want that to happen to your production account, because if that happens, then your regular routine daily emails will start getting blocked by some of the third parties. So if you separate them out, now if your mass email account gets tagged as spammer, yeah, big deal. It is sending out a bunch of emails, but your production account is not impacted. So we always recommend having these two separated anyway. But the reason why these things stop is because of TLS 1.2. It's a good thing. It is more secure. It is not a compromised protocol. So everybody wins at the end of the day. Yeah, it's a little more work. It's a little more hassle. You have to update your firmware. You have to reach out to your copier support guys or whoever it is to, hey, get us a newer firmware that supports TLS 1.2. And if their device is old enough, let's say it's a copier and it's so old that the manufacturer has stopped updating firmware for it, it may be time to upgrade to a newer device that does support TLS 1.2.
So, and this is this is just more of a response to the amount of breaches, email breaches, phishing. I mean, is this pretty much the
yeah. So not just a response to the breaches that we've had this year, but also because TLS 1.0 is not as secure at TLS 1.2, and Microsoft is doing a lot of work on the back end to secure their customers, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm sure I'm saying Microsoft, but a lot of these big providers, well, there's only really two, right? But
right.
A lot of these big providers are doing a lot of work on the back end to secure their customers. And TLS 1.2 is just one of those things that's a brick in that wall that everybody's building to secure everything behind that wall. So that's just one brick. Modern authentication was another brick, and there's going to be bricks down the line, as some of these encryption technologies get compromised, or there's a better technology that comes out. These vendors are automatically going to keep updating the backend, and that's the beauty of the cloud. You don't have to worry about that part. Microsoft or Google or whoever it is worrying about that part. They're now forcing you to be up to standards and be more secure, which we love because normally before before Microsoft 365 or Office 365 or BPOS back in the day, it was us who were maintaining customers' Exchange servers, and we had to implement these updates, and we had to schedule with customers and explain to them why it's a good thing to upgrade these security protocols. So it was a lot more education on us. Now all that is on Microsoft, and Microsoft sends out all these things, and it's not an option for a customer to not upgrade anymore. So in the past, if it was a customer of ours and we had to install some update in exchange for security, which was going to break some things, a lot of times there were customers who says, no, we don't care. We don't want to be secure. Just leave it as it is. We're working on something else. We don't want to worry about this right now. And a lot of times we set that aside, and once you postpone something, I've seen in my experience, a lot of times it will just keep getting pushed back and pushed back, and it never gets implemented. Now everybody's getting forced to be up on the forefront of security, which I think is a great thing, especially in the landscape that we're in right now, right?
It's definitely now. Yeah.
So, and I just wanted to make this short video. I was talking to Mac yesterday and just want to make this short video on what are these vendors doing? Why are services breaking? So they're breaking not because, it's not intentional. Yeah, the communication could have been better, but they're breaking because the cloud providers are continuously keeping their standards up to a good industry baseline, which before the cloud technologies, each individual company had to do it on their own, and not a lot of companies, especially in the SMB space, were doing it.
That's true.
So it's keeping everybody. So basically, it's like that sea level that's rising, and it's raising all the boats with it.
Well, there it is.
So everybody, with that, have a great day. 15 minutes. I think it's a record. We'll see you next time.
We'll see you guys. Bye.